What's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome back to Buffalo Beat News, the channel where passion meets insider reporting and where we break down the stories that really matter to Bills fans. Listen, the Buffalo Bills are on a mission. Every decision this offseason, from contract talks to roster depth to navigating some unexpected challenges, is rooted in one goal: bringing the Lombardi Trophy home to Buffalo. This team is constantly improving, grinding every day to build the kind of roster that can win in January and February. But even as the squad sharpens its weapons, a couple of major storylines are stirring in Orchard Park. One centers on a guy who carried this offense on his back last season, running back James Cook, who's coming off a monster year and is now eyeing a well-deserved payday. The other, a serious and sensitive issue surrounding rookie cornerback Maxwell Hairston. We're unpacking both today: the contract complications, the coaching praise, the legal matter, and what it all means for the Bills heading into 2025. Before we dive in, do us a solid, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Let's go. Let's start with James Cook. The numbers in 2020 speak for themselves: over 1,000 rushing yards, 16 total touchdowns, tying a franchise record. A critical piece of Joe Brady's offensive success. This is a player who went from a rotational piece in his first 2 years to one of the most dangerous runners in the entire AFC. And the crazy part, it wasn't just his vision or his burst that leveled up. According to running backs coach Kelly Skipper, it was Cook's strength that made the biggest difference. He improved his strength. Skipper told ESPN he was able to break more tackles, run physical. So his whole game came together last year, and it showed. Cook wasn't just juking guys, he was running through them. That bruising style transformed him into a red zone nightmare for opposing defenses. Skipper added, he just wanted to be around his teammates. He loves football, so him being around his teammates was really good for him. That right there tells you a lot about Cook's mindset. Team first, even with his contract situation looming. So, where's the contract? Well, here's the problem. The Bills currently have only $100,700 in cap space. Yes, that's not a typo. It's razor thin. Combine that with the league-wide trend of devaluing running backs, and it's easy to see why Cook hasn't gotten the deal he wants. Cook might be extremely productive, but unless your name is Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry, it's tough to get paid at that position. There's also the reality that Cook is still under contract. He's playing on the final year of his rookie deal, and it looks increasingly likely that the Bills will make him play it out. Of course, there's the option of a hold-in at training camp, where he shows up but doesn't practice to avoid fines, but so far, he's kept things professional. Make no mistake, this is a delicate situation. The Bills want Cook on the field. Cook wants to be paid like one of the best in the game, and there's real tension between those two realities. The big question: will Buffalo risk alienating one of its most valuable players by not extending him now, or will Cook keep his head down, put up another elite season, and test free agency in 2026? What we do know is that he's in a prove-it year, and if he plays like he did in 2024, the Bills might regret not locking him up earlier. Now let's turn to a much different and much more serious situation involving rookie cornerback Maxwell Hairston. This week, news broke that Hairston is facing a civil lawsuit stemming from an alleged sexual assault in 2021. During his freshman year at the University of Kentucky, the lawsuit, filed in Kentucky, claims that Hairston removed a woman's pajamas and assaulted her in her dorm room after she had indicated she was uninterested in sexual activity. Hairston was 17 at the time. The accuser reported the incident to campus police and underwent a SANE sexual assault nurse examiner exam at a hospital. This allegation wasn't publicly known during the draft process, and that has raised major questions about the vetting process used by NFL teams, especially since Hairston was taken 30th overall by the Bills in the first round. Bills general manager Brandon Beane responded to the report back in April, saying it was one of those where there was zero information saying that this actually happened. Beane said the team and the university both investigated and found no conclusive evidence. Still, the NFL's personal conduct policy, updated in 2023, allows the league to discipline players for conduct that occurred before they were drafted, which means Hairston could still face consequences if the league chooses to pursue the matter after civil proceedings. As of now, both the University of Kentucky and the Buffalo Bills have declined further comment. So, where does this leave the team? Well, Hairston signed a fully guaranteed $15 to $8 million contract through 2028 with a fifth-year option in 2029. But if the civil case heats up and the NFL decides to step in, he could face suspension. Even without a criminal conviction, it's a tough situation. On one hand, Hairston's potential as a player is enormous, the second cornerback off the board in this year's draft. On the other hand, the optics of this lawsuit cast a shadow over the Bills' otherwise strong offseason. The organization will have to walk a fine line, respecting due process, while also remaining sensitive to the gravity of the allegation. Let's face it, the Buffalo Bills have felt the pressure before, for straight Super Bowl appearances in the 90s and for painful losses. Fast forward to the Josh Allen era, a new quarterback, new energy, and MVP-caliber performances, and yet, heartbreak continues. In fact, the Bills have been eliminated from the playoffs for straight times by Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So when we talk about pressure in 2025, we're not just talking about another year of high expectations. We're talking about the weight of 3 decades of disappointment, all on the shoulders of QB1 Josh Allen. Now, here's the thing, this year does feel different. Allen is coming off an NFL MVP season. The offense, while missing Stefon Diggs, hasn't fallen apart. Far from it. The team brought in Joshua Palmer and Elijah Moore, and young weapons like Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman are stepping up. The defense, retooled and reloaded. Veterans and draft picks combined to fill the gaps left by free agency departures. It's a well-balanced roster. Maybe the most complete version of this team since Allen took over as QB. As Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer put it, last year's roster reset was a big success. Every year, having a quarterback like Allen puts pressure on everyone to win at the highest level. That certainly exists this year. He's not wrong when you have a guy like Josh Allen, a top 3 QB in the NFL. Anything short of a Super Bowl feels like a failure. Every great quarterback has their defining moment. Mahomes had his. Brady had plenty. Even guys like Joe Flacco and Eli Manning had playoff runs that etched their names into history. But Josh Allen, he's got the stats, the highlight reels, the dominance, but what he doesn't have is a moment on the biggest stage. Not yet. Last year's divisional round was a perfect example. Allen had the ball late in the fourth quarter with a chance to force overtime, and it didn't happen. Not because of lack of effort, not because of fear, just execution. The Chiefs made one more play than we did. It's the kind of moment that keeps you up at night as a competitor. And for Allen, it's not about MVPs anymore. It's about legacy. Here's something we don't talk about enough. Pressure is a privilege. The Bills should be under pressure. Why? Because this team has real expectations. Because fans believe. Because Allen is that guy. Imagine being a team with no expectations. That's not us. We're in the spotlight. We're getting primetime games, national media coverage, MVP candidates, Super Bowl projections. That's not pressure to avoid. That's pressure to embrace. The best teams and the best players welcome it. Albert Breer summed it up best. At some point, you have to find a way to break through. That's what it comes down to. No more close calls. No more moral victories. The AFC is loaded. And the Bills aren't sneaking up on anyone. But they've got the tools, the coaching, and the experience, and the clock is ticking. The path to Super Bowl LX won't be easy. The Chiefs are still the team to beat. The Ravens, Bengals, and even the Jets with a healthy Rodgers are gunning for that same crown. It's a crowded race, but let's not forget, the Bills have Josh Allen, an elite offensive line, ascending receivers, and a defense that's itching to prove itself. And this schedule? It's built for statements. We've got games against Miami, Pittsburgh, and a late-season showdown that could define the AFC playoff picture. Everything is in front of them. Let's take a step back. The Bills have two very different situations to manage, one involving James Cook, the present-day engine of the offense, and one involving Maxwell Hairston, a first-round investment with a legal cloud hanging over his head. And all of this is happening as Buffalo looks to finally push through to a Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era. So Bills Mafia, we want to hear from you. Do you think Cook deserves a contract extension now? Or should the team wait until after 2025? How should the team and the league handle the Maxwell Hairston lawsuit? What's your confidence level in how this front office is handling off-the-field distractions? Drop your takes in the comments. As always, we're reading and replying. If you appreciated this deep dive, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter of this critical offseason. This is Buffalo Beat News, and we're keeping you locked in all year long. Go Bills!